Hey guys, here's a quick review of what I had in my pack at the end of my 2017 thru hike on the AT. So the pack that I got in New Hampshire was the Osprey, Osprey Exos 48, and it's a really good pack. It's much lighter than the Agnes that I had, and very comfortable pack, and I had a good time finishing the trail with it. So let's see what we got in here. So there's the AT guidebook that it used to be 8 ounces, and I just kind of cut it down to where it was just 2 ounces or less. And I know a lot of people, what they did with their guidebook was they would rip pages out and burn them or whatnot, but I wanted to keep it as a souvenir when I finished the thru hike, so I cut it down to save some weight. Little trail journal and a Sharpie pen. Z-Packs pillow. It's got the fleece material on the inside. Also use this as a stuff sack for my clothes. Z-Packs bear bag kit. Lasted the whole trail. Z-Packs wallet. Z-Packs phone case pouch. Tifosi lightweight sunglasses cover case, 2 ounces, and I had some sweet sunglasses that I think I left them at the Mount Bigelow or somewhere around that area, and it is what it is. Gotta get myself some new lightweight sunglasses. Toilet paper and wet wipes. Rain cover. With this pack you don't really need it, but when it was raining pretty heavy, I did put the cover on a few times. But this is from my Osprey Agnes 65, and I just kept it with me when I switched over to this pack. But the material on this pack is, as long as you have a contractor bag, for the most part, you don't really need to have a rain cover. But when it's raining heavy and you got stuff in your mesh pockets, you can throw that on as extra precaution. Inside the pack. Heavy duty contractor bag. Every time it's raining, you put all your stuff into this, and it keeps it dry. This will be for a thru hike. This will be one of the first things that you should get before you get on the trail. No matter what pack you have, it's great to have a contractor bag. Sawyer kit, regular Sawyer filter. I wasn't filtering my water as often as I was when I started, but I would still have this for those unflowing water sources. You definitely want to filter. Electronics. Black Diamond. Picked this bad boy up at Hot Springs, and it served me well all the way to Katahdin, and I still use it on my trail runs and walks and stuff like that. This is a great headlamp, highly recommend it. Charger cord. Anchor that I started the trail with. They're not as good at holding battery life as they do it in the beginning. So it goes from 7 charges, full phone charges, to down to 4 or 5. But I still use it, still works good. Picked this one up at Boiling Springs, and this is a Goal Zero. My phone didn't have the greatest battery life, so I had to get an extra one because I was filming the whole, my whole trail with my phone, so I had to make sure I had my phone up and running. This is a little lightweight Cordura fabric Sea to Summit case for all my electronics, chargers, and all that. Trail Magic bandana I got in Georgia. Merrill Buff. Use this on the cold days, mostly as a bandana. Let's see, this is my rain gear here. So this right here is the Mermont rain jacket. It is Mermont, and it's got the armpit zips and everything. It's good. A bit on the heavier side. You can get lighter stuff than this. Frog togs. I cut the bottoms off because they were too long for me, but wore them here and there. Usually when it was raining, I was just hiking through with just my shorts on. But on those, when you're in higher elevations, you throw these on. They're not super heavy, so I had them the whole hike. Nike fleece gloves, lightweight, and a few times when it got really cold, I would put plastic bags over them to keep warmth in, and you really don't need to have any kind of heavy duty gloves unless it's really, really cold. But yeah, even on the cold days, I just put plastic bags over these, and they worked fine for me. Great item here, REI, Fleece-Lined Polartec beanie, great to sleep in. So you got to have a beanie or some kind of warm hat for those cold days, or even sometimes in the morning when you start hiking. This gets you going, and then you switch over to a lighter hat. By the way, this hat here is the Head Sweats. It's basically like a lot of runners use hats like this, and I had it from day one on the AT, and still have it. Great hat, highly recommend it. Alright, Darn Tough socks. See here, I think they got a hole in them somewhere. Yeah, there's a hole in them there, but this was my second pair of extra socks. When my main Darn Toughs got wet, I made sure I had an extra pair of these, and sometimes I would sleep in these in Gingy socks, or since I got rid of my Crocs, I would wear these if we got a hotel or I was staying in a hostel. I would just wear these Gingy toe socks as I walked around the place, because I didn't have any Crocs or camp shoes to save weight. I sent my Crocs home, so an extra pair of socks worked out that way. Ex-Officio Boxers. I started the trail with 2 pairs, and I left one of the pairs at a hotel. I also left a nice REI tech shirt there too, so gotta make sure you remember to pack everything away. I usually did a good job with that, but I left it hanging behind a door and sort of wandered off. So this is a pair of Town lightweight Nike shorts. They were always clean, and whenever I would go into town, Instead of doing laundry first thing, I could take a shower, throw this on, and I'd be ready to go to a restaurant or do whatever. And this was my town shirt. Sometimes I would sleep in it too. This is a cool button-up shirt, and this is kind of like a luxury item. Also, when you get into town, instead of doing laundry first thing, you throw this on. Patagonia UL puffy down jacket. Great item. Kept me nice and toasty on those North Carolina nights when we were up at high elevation in the Smokies, and all those evenings by campfires when it was getting cold. I'd have this on, and it worked out great, and it's super lightweight, and this is one of these items that you really don't need to send back. You can have this with you at all times. It folds into a really small, it goes into its own pocket. It just folds down into a really small little shape, and yeah, great item. Let's see here. This is a silk liner. I use this with my Enlightenment Equipment Revelation quilt, which is a 20-ounce quilt. I don't have it on me right now, but I had this with me, and instead of getting all sweaty or whatever into my quilt, I would get into this, the silk liner, and kept my quilt from smelling as bad as it could have been smelling, because you can wash this, but you don't want to be washing your quilt all the time. So this is something to think about. Definitely good to have a silk liner with you, or some kind of liner to use. So in the top pocket we have, this is a bag of miscellaneous items. Everything's in a Ziploc. I'll go over this in a minute. Dr. Scholl's Active Series for blisters prevention. Pretty much the same thing as Bod Glide. You want to have this on, especially when you start the trail. This works wonders. DEET. This is Ben's Wilderness Formula Tick and Insect Repellent. In Maine, you want to cake this on pretty much all day, every day. In other parts, depending on when you start the trail, you want to have insect repellent, because you're out there and they're going to be out there, and some days it gets pretty bad, so this helps big time. Hand sanitizer. This is something you want to have at all times. You don't want to run out of hand sanitizer. Try to borrow somebody else's. You gotta have your own at all times. Toothbrush and toothpaste. You can have a full toothbrush or just the little mini ones. Save weight. I started with a Z-Pax one. This little tiny little Z-Pax toothbrush, but switched over to whatever I could just get at Dollar General further down the trail. I got rid of my cook set, and to save weight I got rid of the jet boil and everything because I just wasn't using it. So from my cook set, all I have left is this Snow Peak titanium spoon, and had this the whole trail. Great spoon. I'm sure I'll have it on my other hikes, and you know, actually this is a spork. It's a spoon and a fork in one. It's not just a spoon. Yeah, I got everything out of there. So miscellaneous items. Tums, I had some energy pills, like magnesium pills and stuff like that, which definitely help you. Bag of quarters for vending machines. Ibuprofen, Advil, and from talking to people, a lot of times I heard people say Aleve works really well. I used Aleve at some point, and Advil for you know, on those bigger mileage days, it definitely helps you. This is a beauty item right here. Used these a couple times. Earplugs for those snorers. Sometimes you'll be at a shelter and you're expecting to get some great sleep, but somebody will be snoring up a storm throughout the night. So your main options will be to go set your tent up and sleep in peace, or to see if this helps. Sometimes the snorer will be so loud that you'll still hear him, but you definitely want to have some kind of earplugs, because you know, there's plenty of people that snore out there, so keeps cancels some of that noise out. Athletic tape, basically put it anywhere, toes, whatever, cuts, you can use it as a band-aid. Support an ankle injury, things like that. Athletic tape, great. Aqua tabs, I use these a few times, depending on, you know, where the water is and all that. Super glue, little sewing kit. I've had at one point my trail, the Nike shorts that I use all the time, starting to rip at the seam, so I reinforced it, and they lasted the rest of the trail for me. So you definitely want to have a little sewing kit, for maybe not like in a bulky plastic case like this, but a needle, some thread, maybe a tiny little scissors like I got here. So, oh, I also had a Swiss Army knife, but I had to get rid of that when I was getting on the plane to fly back home. They didn't really appreciate me having a Swiss Army knife in my bag, so there it is. Lighter, even though I didn't have a jet boil, you still want to have a lighter in case you want to start a fire, a little campfire or whatnot, or maybe somebody else needs to borrow a lighter for their cooking stove. So this little mini lighter doesn't weigh much, and I just kept it. Toenail clippers, extra roll of duct tape, a couple of rolls of duct tape, some rubber bands, these are like Pepto-Bismol, basically for your stomach pills if you have a sore stomach or whatever. So one of my big items, and my comfortable Big Agnes tent. This was a 2-person Big Agnes copper Spur Ultralight. A little bit of a maybe too much tent for one person, but you know, I like to put my tent up and camp out, so it came in handy, and I've never really tried the hammock route, so I got myself this tent and it served me well the whole trail. And so you got tent stakes in here and ground tarp. Ground tarp is important if it's raining and you want to set up your tent without the inside of it getting wet. You set the ground tarp first and then put the poles over and all that. So I got the original ground tarp for the copper spur, and it's definitely nice to have. This is the pole system for the tent. That's it. And this is what you would call a pack explosion when you get to a hostel or something and you get everything out of your pack to sort it out or do laundry. Sometimes it would look like a pack exploded all over the place. These are the shoes that I finished the trail with, Hoka Challengers, and I used OR, Outdoor Research Gators. Gators. They weren't this bright looking when you're hiking. They usually get grayish and mud all over them and stuff like that. Darn tough socks. Starting to thin out. Trust me, you won't really find that many people that can have a couple pairs of socks and have them last the whole trail too. You know, you'll get holes and it's gonna happen. They start thinning out. But yeah, from all the different socks, I love Darn Toughs. They got a great warranty and they're really comfortable socks. Super Feet. If you need some arch support, these used to be blue. You see a hint of blue in them, but I got these Super Feet at Neil's Gap, and they made it all the way to Katahdin and down from Katahdin, so I got my money's worth out of the Super Feet. So the Black Diamond Cork poles, and you see all the battle marks on them. They lasted the whole trail. The tip is starting to curve, but very comfortable having the cork. And a great pair of poles, aluminum, very comfortable, and I would definitely use them on the climbs and stuff like that. You got to have some kind of hiking poles. Some people will start the trail without them, and by week one they end up buying poles because you're just climbing all day, and this helps your upper body, helps you relieve some of that stress from your legs. So yeah, that's basically all the stuff that I finished the AT with. And the only thing I don't have here, so I don't have the Enlightenment Equipment quilt on me right now, and I don't have the Zlite sleeping mat. So other than that, this is all my gear. Peace.